When young people run away from home or find themselves forced out, it can be for many reasons, but they all need help, including a safe haven. There's an effort to spread the word about a whole network of safe places throughout the country. Part of the network in the Boston area is the nonprofit agency Bridge Over Troubled Waters. To tell us about the effort and the National Safe Place Week are the agency's executive director, Elizabeth Jackson, and the director of program services, Peter Ducharme. Thank you both for being with us.
Thank you for having us.
I'll start with Elizabeth. We talk about these young people maybe as young people in crisis. What's going on that you're trying to help them with?
Our young people that we serve are ages 14 through 17. In crisis, they can be running away from home, emotional, physical abuse, sexual abuse, a miscommunication at home, a fight, any situation in that stage that they're in that they're not feeling comfortable, and now they find themselves on the street with nowhere to go.
What kind of things are they in danger of once they're out of safety of a home?
And the study says in the first 48 hours, if a child's not back in a safe situation, and they can fall into addiction or drugs, they can fall into being prostitution, human trafficking. There's any violence. There's any array of different dangers that they find themselves in because they're trying to get something to eat. They're trying to get a safe place, and it's cold, and they get trapped into situations that it's not comfortable for them, and they don't know how to get out.
Peter, Bridge, I think, has been helping young people like this for decades. So why have this National Safe Place Week coming up next week?
Yeah, so Bridge has been around for 49 years, helping youth in a variety of ways. For National Safe Place Week, the reason why it's so important is just to raise awareness and help other communities to know that Safe Place exists and how to access these services to hopefully reach young people that might be in need.
Elizabeth, how do you usually get in touch with these young people? Or does somebody get in touch with you and tell them?
We've been around, like Peter said, since 1970s. So young people know us well. So there's a lot of word of mouth. A lot of other agencies know us as well. And there's the National Runaway Hotline. There's also Bridges, a 24-hour telephone number that if a young person, if they wind up in a police station or they wind up at a library and they have a National Safe Place symbol, that they can always get in touch with us and provide services. We have street outreach workers, medical, dental, counseling services, housing services. So we do have a range of different services that we provide for young people.
Peter, what does that mean when we say safe place? I mean, what are you protecting them from? I mean, there might be privacy issues here too, I imagine.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we think about safe places, what Bridge is doing as the lead agency is trying to train other community providers, other organizations, particularly in Boston, on how to be a safe place provider. So when that happens, after the training, they kind of hang the yellow safe place sign up, and that allows young people to know that this is a place I can come to for help. When they enter a facility, if they need help, they can let somebody know that I saw the safe place sign and I'd like some help. The organization is then trained on how to respond. So how to help make the young person comfortable while they contact Bridge, and then we're usually able to respond within 20 to 30 minutes with one of our adolescent counselors who's able to do an assessment on the spot and try to assess what the needs are and how to help the person.
Elizabeth, I imagine you've got some fairly complicated situations. Sometimes you might have a family back home that's pretty dysfunctional to begin with. You might have a young person, maybe they're LGBT, and the family's having a hard time dealing with that. I mean, this isn't something you quickly resolve, is it?
No, it's not. What the first step is to resolve them being safe, being in a place where they have a roof over their head, nobody's going to violate them, no one's going to hurt them anymore. That's the first step. Once we have that taken care of, then we can start working with families. We can do family reunification, family counseling. We can talk about any addictions that they may have. We can start working on those types of concerns and problems and issues that are coming up that are making the child unsafe. And the goal is to first get them safe and then start working on all the other situations that arise.
This is Vienna News. We're talking with Elizabeth Jackson and Peter Ducharme from Bridge Over Troubled Water. Peter, ideally, some young person in crisis seeing this show tonight, will pick up a phone and call you or text you or something. But a lot of times that's not going to happen. So who should be helping these kids make the connection?
Yeah, so we do have a team of street outreach workers that are always canvassing the city. They're walking around on the streets, they're visiting community centers, shelters, they're looking for young people. You're absolutely right, though. A team of 4 can't reach everybody in need. And that's really why the Safe Place Awareness Week is so important. We want people to know that, yes, they can call our agency. They're also, through the Safe Place Network, able to text SAFE to 4HELP. And then that will send them the closest location of a safe place provider of where young people can go for more services.
What's that like, Elizabeth, doing the outreach? I mean, even how do you spot somebody who's in crisis?
Hi, Peter and I, we were both outreach workers for Bridge, and the first thing is just to walk up and just say hi. How are you? I've seen you here for a while. Do you want something to eat? Do you know who I am? Introduce yourself. My name is Elizabeth. I work with Bridge. These are the type of services we have. So I always say they're salespeople on foot talking about what Bridge does and the services. The young person needs to feel comfortable first. And so we have to make them feel comfortable. And it's all about always being there, being consistent, have good communication, and say, we're here if you just want to talk or if you just want a sandwich, and make sure they know that it's about being safe and giving them awareness of a lot of harm reduction. If you're going to stay out here tonight, watch for this, watch for that. Make sure this is a number to call. Call us anytime, 24 hours, no questions asked. We just want you to be safe.
Peter, it's always human nature to not be comfortable with strangers, but with these young people, I mean, there are some people that they're vulnerable to because maybe they're desperate for something. Explain that.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's hard to identify a young person, say, okay, this is somebody clearly at risk. When our street outreach workers are out, I mean, we want to get to know everybody that looks like they're in our age range, because you just never know who is at risk. When we're, again, meeting people and telling them about Bridge services, we try to figure out what they're looking for and what their goals are and how can we connect with them in that way to really start the relationship building process. And sometimes people are going to have to get to know us, are going to have to trust us before they may reveal that there's actually a really unsafe situation going on for them.
So what happens eventually? You say you start giving them services, but they can't stay with the Bridge forever. There's got to be something after that, even if it's not quite where they want to go eventually.
With us, they can stay for up to 72 hours for our runaway service programs that we have, the basic center, and we can extend that to 21 days while we start working with family, or longer. So they will be staying with us, and then if they need more assistance and more work, our job is to coordinate all those services. If it's either working through DCF or is it either working with family, some of them can go back home if we do family reunification, counseling, and so forth. So the goal is to keep them safe, and then what is it that they need to get there. And a lot of convincing. They're young people and they're afraid and they don't trust us. So if we say we're going to provide us services, we have to follow through with that. So we do a lot of background advocacy for our young people to make sure they get the services they need, either going back to school, connecting them back to a social worker, letting them know if these situations arise, who to call first, how to deal with it, and get them through the process.
So finally, Peter, if there's young people out there or somebody who knows about a young person in crisis, how can they follow up and get in touch?
Yeah, again, our agency has a 24/7 number at our main number, 617-423-9575. They can always call there. And then they could always visit our website as well at bridgeotw.org as a way to connect right away.
Thank you both, Peter Ducharme and Elizabeth Jackson.
Thank you for having us.
From Bridge Over Troubled Water.